With me today are two activists and two NGO representatives that have been working closely on the grounds with the victims. Ghourayeb, hi Leah.
Hi.
You're a customer relations manager at AHM and Grant Factory. We are filming here at AHM and people can see what happened due to the explosion. You've been also working as a database manager and co-head of the engineering team with Basecamp, a group of NGOs and volunteers who assist the people affected by the explosion. You are active since day one to advocate for Lebanese people's rights. I also have with me Samer Khoury. Hi, Samer.
Hi.
You're an activist in Mintashrin, a youth-led progressive movement that started off during the revolution of October 2019. You're also a humanitarian activist that has worked on the ground since the start of the uprising to help the victims of the explosion and the government corruption. I'm going to start with Leah. Leah, you described the time of the explosion as being the longest hour of your life. After witnessing all of the chaos, how are you coping with the aftermath and how did the blast affect you personally as a Beirut citizen and psychologically?
The thing is, yes, it was the toughest hour of my life, but not only that hour, because it spreaded over the days and I couldn't sleep well and I couldn't eat and everything that was happening was so difficult to cope with. But I think helping on the ground every day and seeing that all the families that have nothing left, no homes, some people lost their families as well. They have no money because the situation is already very difficult. So helping them every day from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. non-stop is what maybe actually is what made me go through all of this. So I could sleep better at night. And day by day, I could feel like I was alive again. Because the first few days, I felt like we were all dead. And we had to deal with this catastrophe. And it's seeing people being so grateful for us, for all the help we're getting, is what actually made me smile again. When seeing them like having a bit of hope, because we are there for them.
And you're still working every day?
Every day. I think it's a very long project. It won't end in a month or two. I think it's going to be a 6 to 9 months, maybe even more, because the reconstruction part of Beirut is very big. So many houses are completely destroyed. All the clubs, the small supermarket, the small hairdresser, everything is lost. And it's not easy because it needs a lot of funding.
Of course.
And we know that the Lebanese lira is now means almost nothing, and all the raw materials are in dollars. So it's very tough to help everyone and to say yes to everyone when we need funding. We need so much funding. I will say this the whole hour.
And I think Samer would agree that we have a trust issue with the government concerning the funding.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think it's gonna happen in 6 months or in a year, or it's gonna take more time?
What is? To get out of this whole...
to repair everything that has happened.
It shouldn't take less than 6 months. I don't think so. As Leah said, we need a lot of funding, we need a lot of material, we need a lot of manpower as well to build back the city, to build back everything that was destroyed. So yeah, it will take a lot of time, especially that a lot of old buildings that are quite into architecture, that are very important in architecture. All civilizations build them. So this is not like an easy job or an easy task to do.
What was it like seeing the destruction firsthand?
Well, I was probably 400 meters away from the port, if not a bit further than that. To be honest, until this day, I can't put my feelings into words. The day of the destruction, when the explosion occurred, I really don't know what I felt. Until today, I also don't know how to describe what I felt, especially working on ground with Leah and the whole team, meeting people that were exposed to this, telling them telling me their stories. Everyone has a different story. Everyone has coped with this problem differently. I really can't describe how I felt and how I still feel. But for me, the only way to get out of it is to work and help. Yeah.
So from what you're saying now, the internal wound is much more maybe dangerous or difficult to heal than what we're seeing from the outside.
Well, I believe everyone was affected by this explosion, whether they were in the region of the explosion or away from Beirut, or even people abroad, because it's something that touched us internally and affected us on the mental side, especially that we live in a country where we've seen explosion, we've seen wars, we've seen bad things. But this was really huge.
Yes.
And being in a car after the explosion, seeing blood and shattered glass, and I mean, yeah,
chaos
this
and
definitely
everything,
affected us, especially younger generations. So yeah.
Leah, you work with Basecamp as a database manager and co-head of the engineering team in the areas that were affected by the explosion. How would you describe the role and its importance regarding what is needed on the ground?
So actually, at first we had so many donations, and it was a bit chaotic because everybody needs help. But we had to create a system to know how to exactly help the right people with the right need they have. So we created two systems. It's an in and out system. So the in system was that we created a call center. We got some people that were all volunteers as well. And people could call us to tell us they need help. And we have a series of questions about everything.
To assess
the exact need of this family
each
or
and
this
every
person.
family.
So it's food, it's diapers and milk for their babies, it's home reparations, it's even hygiene products because they can't afford even to buy something to clean their house.
Yeah.
So we had all these basic questions, and as well for the psychological help because a lot of people need it in this beautiful event. So we had so we did this to assess properly each family, but the issue is some people don't have social media, some people don't own phones because there's a lot of older generations.
So it's more difficult to connect with them.
So the out system was like we sent scouters to different zones in the city, and they used to knock on every door and ask these people the same questions that we asked them on the phone. So it was the in from the call center and the out from the scouters, and then everything
Gathered in.
And I used to dispatch to all the teams to see who needs what, so we can get them the proper help for everyone.
Samer, how are the people's state? If we want to talk about not today.
Today,
It's like, do you think that people are just looking for food and the basic things and they forgot about their human rights, or they are still strong and they are still fighting for their rights?
maybe some, yes. I think we will have to put people into different categories.
Exactly.
Some people are highly affected psychologically. Some people can't actually do anything about it. As
Because
she
they
said, there are
surrendered,
old
you think?
people living in old houses. They literally can't do anything, and they have no one here. Other people, mostly from our generation, are
still fighting.
they have a different coping mechanism from older generations. So this is when they all decided to took the streets the day after the explosion and help everyone. How are the people? The people are tired. The people are angry. The people are sad. The people are.
Have you seen a lot of people surrender like we've had? That it's enough. We cannot take it anymore.
Unfortunately, yes, not surrender in a way, but somehow lost hope. But this is also because of other people inside whatever we are doing or we are creating.
Yeah.
We have a problem in this country that a lot of people fight between one another because it's either their way or the highway. And this is something big and very problematic. I know. Sorry. I'd like to ask the people to just put
Unite.
and put their ego aside. It's time to unite. It's time to work together. Even if I have different thoughts than you, but our aim is the same. We want
And
Lebanon
we can agree
again.
on the basic things and the
Absolutely.
human rights and the things
Absolutely.
that we need
And
today.
in these times, I personally believe that we have to be a bit selfless and think about
Exactly.
others.
Think about our country
Yes.
and the society.
And future generations.
Of course. Leah, what is the role of the Lebanese people? How can they help today? How can the youth help? A lot of people, maybe they didn't feel that they should leave their homes and just go down the streets and help.
I think that the people are the savior of Beirut right now because we have no help from the government. We have no help from anyone, actually. So if people don't come together to help the ones who need help, we can do this. And from what I've been seeing from the past 4 weeks, people have been amazing. We had like 1,000 of volunteers every day coming, every day asking us, what do you need? Do you need to dispatch food box to Karantina? Let's go. To Jamaise, let's go. People had a lot of energy because they felt that we are the only hope remaining actually in here. So, and we still need help. It's not over yet.
Of course.
So we still need
Especially
volunteers.
that the government is
Still the issue is that the government, I don't think they will ever do something.
Of course.
So some people were waiting. When we went to visit some houses, some people were like, no, it's okay, we're going to wait for XYZ to come help us. And we're trying to explain that they won't come. Let us help you now before winter so you guys can sleep in a house.
Winter is going to be difficult, especially the rain.
Winter is coming, and it's a big problem because so many houses are still open. And the traditional houses we can't touch them because there's a lot of rules.
Yeah.
So these houses are now untouchable, and it's going to take a lot of time to fix them. So we need people, we need volunteer, we need all the help we can get, honestly.
Sam,
if I may add something
course.
on her, she said something very important, that no one is going to come and save us. There's no savior anymore. Like one man who's going to just remove us from all. And for the people who can't be here physically, they can always help morally. They can send help.
They can spread awareness.
Absolutely.
They can share videos.
Exactly.
They can just.
So everyone can do something.
Yeah,
everyone
here
can
or from afar or anywhere in the world, actually.
Samer, based on your work in Tashrin, now we can say today that the people are doing the government's job. What are, in your opinion, the most important needs of the people at a time like this?
I actually answered this answer before.
I know, but I need more details. Because of everyone who's watching.
Unfortunately, we are doing the government's job. We shouldn't. We are citizens who are not even 30 yet, so why would I be doing the government's job?
Exactly.
But what I ask from the people in Lebanon to stay united. This is probably the strongest thing that we can do. We should be united.
You're stressing on this.
Yes, because I come from the revolution before coming from the explosion. And even inside this revolution, some people fight with one another because of this ego problem, this Lebanese pride that we have, and it doesn't even exist. It's just like easy talks. But if we stand together, and it was proven, like before the start of the revolution, we stood together and we actually reached somewhere. But now, when everyone wants to do their own job, or like either my way or no way, it wouldn't get us anywhere.
Of course. One last message to everyone who's watching, to the expats, to everyone who's watching.
To the world.
To the world, for the donations, to help.
First of all,
these
I'd like
NGOs.
to thank you for having us on this platform. And you have our support from
you so
now
much.
on.
Thank you.
For the world, well, Lebanon is a piece of country that has history, culture, music, knowledge, letters, food. Don't forget about us. We are not just a country that has wars and whatever. We are just ruled by ruthless criminals. They are careless and they just don't want to evolve. They just want to destroy. Listen to the people. The civil society is doing an amazing job to recreate a better Lebanon and a better future that is sustainable for us and future generations. Support us so we can move forward.
Leah, your message.
Also, don't ever stop talking about what's happening here, because we shouldn't let it happen ever again, because it's the biggest crime we ever witnessed. And the second message is that any help is help.
Of course.
$1 to thousands of dollars, anything helps. By donating money, by donating materials, by helping psychologically your friends, family from abroad, everything helps, no matter how big or small is the help. And I think, I hope Sam
But they should actually know where to help and
Yes,
who to help.
exactly.
That's what I want to say. My last message is for transparency.
Yes.
For everyone who is donating, after all what we're doing here today, everything will be published online. how it was spent, who are the families that we helped, and
We're actually already
because
doing
we should do
this.
this.
This
We're-
is how it
Of
should
course.
be,
We're
because for
fri-
the past
yeah.
3-4 decades, our government was receiving aids and help, but
No one saw
I
anything.
think they bought
Not telling us how they're
shoes and
spending.
cars
Exactly.
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So actually, for each donor, we're doing a full report with his money, how it went in, who are the families that they helped, the pictures for the houses before and after.
Of course.
So it's fully transparent, and I think people will continue helping us because we're doing really a lot of beautiful things together.
Keep doing what you're doing.
Yes, and there is a big change.
Yeah.
Like for
That's coming.
in
Let's
Lebanon,
hope so,
in the
of
world,
course.
this new generation is proving that we don't want to fight, we don't want to go into wars. We're
We need
into
to unite,
arts,
we
we're
need to help
into
each other,
humanity.
of
We're
course. Keep doing what you're doing. Thank you, Samer.
Thank you.
And thank you, Leila.
same
I
to
hope
you.
Salman will one day be president because
Any honest person should be our president.
Exactly.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
thank you.